The sooner we can make grief our friend, the sooner we stop wishing for it to go away, the more quickly that process doesn't become so difficult. And it's not that the grief becomes over. That may be with us for our whole lives. I mean, when we have a close bond with someone, we can feel their absence for the rest of our lives. But that grief can shift into good memories and feeling their presence. It can energize us instead of drain us. And when we infuse that pain of loss with love for that person, we make that grieving process a little easier, and we make it a little more tolerable. And the way to really get past grief is to actually come to terms with that grief. And so we welcome that pain and loss as part of that beautiful expression of the person and our love for them. Because once we no longer suffer grief, all that remains is those cherished times and the legacy that they left behind, which is one of immense love and a legacy of leaving the world better than we found it, leaving all the people we touched better than we found it. And that is really the best that any of us can hope to say as we shift off this physical reality. Grief is not like depression or normal sadness. It is a natural and unique process that has its own elements and stages and works in its very own specific region in the brain. It's better to think of it like a physical entity in our body, an invader virus that is unwelcomed and infects us. And this type of virus can't be physically removed or killed. It can't even be beaten, and any fight simply fuels its growth. Any resistance against it only energizes it. And so the key is to let it work its course. This is the fastest way to integrate that entity inside of us, that grief monster. Any fight we put up just fuels its growth. Any resistance against it only energizes it. And the key is to simply witness its rage, witness its subtlety when it goes dormant and we feel maybe it's over, and noticing it's still present. And we have to keep a watchful eye, seeing all of the emotions and thoughts and physical sensations. Sometimes we'll think we're getting better, and then it rears its ugly head. But whether we're in a good moment or a bad moment or experiencing both at the same time, we simply watch it without feeding it, and we embrace it and love it and welcome it and cradle it. And this is how we can transform this unwanted visitor into a sacred companion that may even be with us for the rest of our lives, and it probably will. But if we honor it, it will honor us. And it can be a bit of a curmudgeon. If we fight it, it can get angry. But if we nurture and care for it, it can truly be a peaceful companion and even a source of great strength for ourselves and others. If growth in our lives stems from challenges and difficulties, then there is no greater challenge and no greater growth than that comes from immense loss. This grief monster, it doesn't mean to be mean. It just loved someone so much, and it can't have that expression of attachment. So it's attachment without that object. So when it can't find that person, it goes crazy. But deep down, that grief is just misplaced attachment. And the process of grief is simply that part of our brain that became used to a person and is no longer able to find that person. And so we can create ways for these people to live on in our lives. And we can integrate their memories and their presence into every moment of our lives in ways they weren't before. And that relationship can transform from one of distance to one of oneness. And in a way, we can truly become closer to those we've lost.